Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast show. And on this show this week, AI is blowing up everywhere. And big companies like Google, Nvidia, AMD, Intel are all over it. Well, their stock price have gone up recently. So what's actually going on? Yeah. And how will AI help us? What are the real dangers with AI? Joining me each and every week is our co-host, Stephen Fong. So, Stephen, what do you think? What's happening with AI?
I think people are making a lot of money at Nvidia.
Yeah.
I think that people at Nvidia have now decided, hey, you know what? I don't need this manager job anymore. I'm going to quit now.
Well, there's been recent filings on SEC, the Stock Exchange Commission and stuff like that. So a couple of executives actually sold their shares and they're worth their millions.
Yeah. Probably left too.
But AI, it's just crazy. We know AI has been growing for the last 5, 6, 7 years. But for the last, I guess, recently have just really blown up. And I think AI will stay with us. It's going to stay with us, and it'll be with us for quite a while.
I think the reason why it's so important right now is that finally people actually get to use AI. Yeah. Because you can tell somebody something, and if they don't quite understand it in their brain, it doesn't exist. It's bad. It's like, oh, what about the downsides? I heard this happens. Yeah. When you get to experience it, you realize that it's none of those things.
Yeah.
When you get to write an entire college paper with it, it's none of those things. For you, once you finally get to use something that has all these benefits that gets you to, and I say this quite often, is that AI inherently is not dangerous. AI is basically how humanity's entire body of work helps an individual or a group get to 80% of project completion, so that we can take the effort that we used to take 100% of that effort to make it to 80% to work on the last 20% to perfection.
Like a lot of the work would be done quicker, right?
All of the work that would literally suck the life out of us to get to the refinement stage is now, we used to take 100% of the effort to get to 80%. Mm-hmm. Now how are we going to make it better? Now it's getting us to 80%. Now this 20% that's left is going to be banging because we are spending all of our time here rather than down here. So
like all the groundwork, all the tedious research and all that kind of stuff is completely done. And then you're focusing on the refinements and the juicy stuff, right?
Humanity's body of work is there for us to take advantage of, so that we can take humanity's body of work and push it 20% better. So students right now in college, and this is something that a lot of professors are kind of struggling with, is like, shoot, all these kids, they're proficient. But they're proficient because they have the help of AI. So what's going to have to happen is that clearly the work that is being assigned is not difficult enough. We need to make the work more difficult because they're already getting to 80%. Now we need to make this last 20% the critical thinking part of the equation, right? Yeah. Because they've given us the foundation. Everything sounds good. The professor knows where you're going with this, but we need to see that sparkle. So I think that's coming.
That's coming. Good. So education-wise, I think it's going to help with a lot of students.
Yep.
And also with professors and teachers and stuff like that, they're going to use AI to actually see if there's any plagiarism or any of that kind of like cheating. That will help, right? It could detect it, stuff like that, right?
Kind of. See, that's kind of where the waters get muddy, because a lot of the information, a lot of that structure is the same all across the board for the same project. What we need to mark on is, you've gotten to 80%.
Yeah.
What's this 20% look like? What sets your group apart from the next group down the hall that's working on exactly the same thing? How is your solution more creative? How is your solution more executable? How is your solution just, quite frankly, better, right? Like, you knock my sock, like, this is fine, 80%. I understand where you're going with this, but knock my socks off.
Will AI be helpful with arts and the creative people?
I think that there's two sides of it right now, is that people are afraid that their art will be ripped off, because every AI image out there has elements of everyone else's work smashed together, right? You can say, I want this. I want a painting of a lake and a tree, but I want this in the style of Pollock. So it's splashy and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
It's weird, right? You can say that, but it's not technically your art. At least not until you put your own spin, flair on it. And I'm not sure how that's going to be done, right? I know that Microsoft and Adobe, they're going out of their way to make sure that there's meta tags in all the material that's created by AI.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
But you can also take created by AI and say, can you take this image and remove created by AI and crop it and make it this? Thank you.
Yeah,
AI can do that too.
I've seen a video of this guy. It was on TikTok or maybe on one of the Instagram reels of this guy going, yes, AI, whatever your name is, and say, look, I want to create, give me an image of an Asian man. So he did that. So AI created it. Yeah, I want an Asian man with noodles. So noodles. And then, yeah, I want one with fried rice. Rice? Egg fried rice. Eggs. No, remove the eggs. And they put peas in it for some reason. No, I don't want no peas. And he kept on adding peas to the rice.
AI still needs work.
Yeah, it still needs work, but it's so fun that you could just ask it to do stuff and it will produce something. Although the work isn't strictly theirs, it could be from different creators and stuff like that. But it just mashes up together everything into one kind of like weird collage, you can call it.
Well, I guess what's going to happen is that there's going to be authentically created without the assistance of AI, paintings, artwork, drawings, photography, photos, and then there's going to be completely created by AI.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
And the distinction will be, well, how do we tell the difference between the two? Well, what's the line, right? What is a photograph and what is real? So according to Samsung, no image is real.
Why is that?
Because, and this is something that they made an excuse about. You remember when the moon photos?
Oh,
they're all fake. They were using actual real images to make the moon real. They were actually using.
They zoomed it in.
They zoomed it in, and then they overlaid a real moon on top of your shaky moon photo.
Yeah,
to make it look amazing. They say that no photo is real. There's no photo is real, and I think what they said is that because when you take the photo, it already passes through the sensor.
Yeah,
so it's not real. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Some BS like that.
Especially with digital cameras.
Yeah,
digital
it's
cameras.
right?
So it's, digitalized. So
it's already altered in some way.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So this is going to be the challenge. Like, what is a photo? And how does it have to be filmed? Do we have to draw it ourselves? And then once you digitize it, you have all the ones and zeros to make it completely something different. It's like having the map of our genome. We can splice and change ones and zeros into something where it's not human anymore.
Well,
but it's still the original genome.
Yeah.
So are we doing that? Like how? This is going to be a debate that's going to go on for many, many years until we figure out.
Yeah. I've seen some AI images that look so real.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell the difference at all.
No. And this is the issue is that we think that a phone taking a video of someone doing something really crappy. Is that photo, is that video real anymore? Because this photo risks exposing this person for being who they are, or is this just a story being told from a negative point of view, right? Maybe this person did nothing wrong, but we've somehow changed it to make it look like them. Because we used to think that photo is truth. It's actually not. And that's been done through the ages.
Yeah, it's because you can take snippets of the real footage or snippets of the real photo and not manipulate it, but just the context.
Yeah.
You're watching a, say, a 2-minute video and where the action happens at, the last sector of the video versus, hey, what's the context? Hey, what happened before?
Yeah.
And then you realize that, hey, it's not that person's fault. It could be someone else's fault, whatever. But it gets taken out of context.
Yeah, like even in analog photography, National Geographic was notoriously bad for this. Remember the Afghani girl with the green eyes?
Oh yeah.
That image.
That's not fake, is it?
It's not a fake image, but what the photographer said was not true.
Okay.
What we felt for the girl, because the photographer said this Afghani girl lives in this war-torn part of the country. Her parents are dead.
Oh, okay. So it was a different story.
Yeah, she's an
attached
orphan.
to it. Okay.
She's not a freaking orphan, first of all. Her parents are definitely alive. None of that was real. So the image was manipulated through the narrative.
True.
That we've given it.
I think we also see the same thing with some of the BBC documentaries, the wildlife ones. And of course, for the team, have to go out to the wilderness to actually film.
Yeah.
But there's certain shots that they couldn't film in the wild. It's just impossible because of different conditions.
Yeah.
And sometimes the animals doesn't even appear.
Yeah.
So what they do is they stage it in the studio.
Yeah.
And they film it as if they were in the jungle. I get it, because hey, you could be spending weeks and weeks and weeks just to chase for that animal, and it doesn't even appear.
Yeah.
Whereas I can film it in the studio and appear to see as if I was in the jungle.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? I mean, you got to get the shot. You either create it, or you get the real thing. In this case, we can take the body of work of this particular animal and we can simulate it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a simulate. Like, it's like when you do those crime documentaries, recreation.
Oh, recreations. Yeah,
the recreation.
Flashes recreation at the bottom. So it's not real.
It's not real. This is not what happened. These are just actors doing the whole thing all over again, right? So are we doing that? Is that okay? As long as it's an authentic representation of what truly happened. And how do we tell if it's authentic recreation or representation of what truly happened, right? Because a lot of people, I don't know if you know about this part of TikTok and Instagram, but you have people that reveal crappy behavior of humans.
Yeah.
Right? Like
shaming people, right? And
no, like not so much that. It's just these people are doing things that are terrible. And if it wasn't for the fact that a camera existed in this day and age, these people would never be exposed for who they truly are.
Yeah.
There was recently, there was a Google employee, maybe an exec, he kicked a little dog in New York. Like the dog was just standing there and he just kind of winds up and just boots it.
Oh no.
But
if
no one captured that,
right,
no one would know that this Google exec was a terrible human. Right? Did that actually happen? Like, was that true? Was that manipulated? Like, these are the things that for good and for bad, we need to straighten out. Like, how do we?
Yeah, I mean, from that person's perspective, he kicked the dog. It was bad. However, it could be that the dog was doing something to him in previous incidents where, for example, he chased him or bit him or whatever, and he saw the same dog. So, hey, what's going on here? So he decided to defend himself.
Yeah, still doesn't excuse that behavior. Right? But at least there's some context to it. And if that truly happened in the way that it showed, and we need to make sure that happened. Yeah. Or if you're some dude that's driving, you're going through a bout of road rage because you're driving in the left-hand lane and you refuse to move, and then you pull out a gun. Is that gun real?
Yeah, it could be a hairbrush.
Is it?
It could be a phone.
Right? Is that a bad human, or was that just some phone that he pulled, which is also bad? You can't be driving and talking on your phone. But what if it was a banana? He was just eating. He was hangry. He was like, no, I just need to eat something here. Sorry. Right?
Yeah.
We don't know, right? So somewhere down the line, we're going to have to figure out a way to properly identify authentic footage. Yeah. And this should be something that is for the benefit of everyone, right? So it should be some sort of watermark. It should be some sort of signal that says unaltered, right? Unaltered would be acceptable.
Yeah, I think it'll be that kind of information would probably be in the meta tags and stuff like that.
But not so much meta tags. It just needs to be there. It's just something that is physically everyone sees it. Like even playback is like unaltered.
Oh, you mean like a watermark, like something that
says that's authentic, that you play it through a specific piece of software that we don't have to go skulking around for it, that we can authentically verify that this piece of footage has not been altered from the original date.
Yeah, and like I said before, I think most of the dangers would be like misinformation, things like that, and some of the things, like I said, the deep fakes are crazy. I mean, I've seen a video of it was Obama, right? Visual, is him with his voice, and again, this is Obama's voice, but it's not really his voice. It was, doctored, and he was talking about issues and certain kind of information about certain topics, which he won't talk about that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it was out there. So is that real or isn't it real?
That's exactly it. It's like, is this altered? How do we see that? And how do we what tools can we employ in video playback devices like YouTube and whatever that allow regular people like you and me to, without special software, to actually see whether it's authentic or not?
Yeah, I think they try, especially now Google, YouTube, and a few other social media platforms. They're heavily invested in AI to counter these type of posts and videos, because then using their AI, they can then recognize whether that post or whether a video is actually deep faked or not genuine or misinformation, stuff like that. So yes, there's some sort of the conspiracy and controversy of like freedom of speech and censorship and stuff like that. But it's really not just to protect ourselves, but also, hey, we need to remove all this kind of deep fakes and misinformation and stuff like that.
Well, I understand freedom of speech, but I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Whose freedom of speech is that?
Yeah.
You're using my face and my likeness to say something that I never did.
Yeah.
What are the legal ramifications? If you made me say that, a thing that I never said, what's going on?
A Black Mirror episode with Salma Hayek was there.
Oh yeah, that one. What's her name is horrible. Yeah. You see that?
And did an image of her pooing, right?
Yeah.
Defecating in some sort of...
In a church.
In a church.
In a church, right? I mean...
It's like, what the hell? And then, it's crazy.
That's not me. It isn't you.
Yeah.
We know you would never do that. But in the context of entertainment, you signed your life away when you signed up for the Mflix, which is like Netflix, but it's not really.
And malicious use, hackers, I mean, they can actually try to deepfake your voice for voice verification. They can do facial recognition, deepfake your face and access your information through that kind of hack. So it is dangerous, I think, anyway, that kind of AI. But also, how do we protect ourselves? That's the thing.
In Hollywood right now, James Earl Jones, I think it was one of them, is that he preserved his voice and allowed it to be used. I'm sure that there's some royalty attached to it, but he's done the alphabet, he's done the readings and everything like that, and we will always have that iconic "this is CNN" voice, right? Always and forever, that voice will always exist.
And that Star Wars Darth Vader voice, right?
The Darth Vader voice. He is Darth Vader, right? James Earl Jones is Darth Vader.
James Earl Jones,
right?
Darth Vader
so
voice.
I mean, that voice will always be. It's iconic. It's recognizable, and now the right people with the right clearance can use that voice. But what if you are using that voice uncleared? Like how does his estate collect the royalty for the usage of that voice, or did he sign it away in perpetuity, or who the owner of that voice is? Like, how does that all work? There's a lot of things that are moving very fast, but we're not catching this stuff fast enough. Yeah,
that's right. AI is moving so fast that there isn't enough laws or rules, or regulation, whatever, to protect the average user.
Yeah,
there's no way, even for us like tech people, that we've been around for years, right?
Yeah, there's so many scams out there that are being perpetrated on senior citizens because they are so trusting. There was an entire generation of people that trusted each other because they talked to each other. They didn't use social media. They knew that what you say is your word and they take you at face value. This is people that are at least 75, 85 years old. They will trust you, believe it or not. They're not gullible. They just understand that humans when what they say is what they mean, and you're going to do what you say.
Yeah, that was
Right? That was expected of you because they were brought up that way.
That's right. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah.
If you don't, there will be consequences, and they happen very fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's crazy how things have changed so fast. When talking about AI, automation, right? Will jobs go?
Some jobs will go.
Yeah.
I guarantee you some jobs will go. The only people that need to be afraid are the people that don't know how to use the tools to utilize the AI tools, right? Your job is only going to go away if you did that job and you don't know how to operate the software or the mechanisms to actually operate the job that you used to do.
Say, so people like content creators, artists, are they safe or not safe?
It depends, right? There's always going to need to be something that has never been done before. And only an artist can kind of think about that and execute that, right? Once that's out there, though, now there can be permutations of it based on AI, right?
Yeah.
Even the artist can create something that is silly to them, but hey, you know what? It would be a lot better if that tree was over here and the duck was upside down. Whatever, right?
And AI will do that for you.
But I created the initial work to make that idea happen.
Okay.
Right? So...
And then factory workers. My brother actually worked in a Amazon warehouse. And he said that the automation is so crazy. Like they have these little robot carts that zoom around collecting different parcels, different packages for certain postcodes. So it knows where the package goes, because in Canada they have the postcode or zip codes of V6 or V7, V8, whatever. It knows where those packages go.
Okay.
And it zooms around. It's these like carts. They're quite big, and they zoom around.
All right.
And the people who work there just, hey, V6, check it into the box, and then the carts go around collecting it, and it goes into vans for certain areas, and then it'll, the van drivers will drive them off.
Okay.
But also the automation in there is so crazy, so advanced that it's he says he worked there for like 6 months and then he had to let go because he wasn't needed.
He wasn't needed.
He wasn't needed. Yeah.
But somebody above him is operating that and overseeing the operations. So the person that is that is okay is the person that the operator is always okay. The people down below are not. They need to skill up.
Yeah,
that's the only issue.
They have a very fast turnover of staff because of the different shift hours and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and some some of the Amazon workers, when they get the pack, they don't care. They just throw it. So if you get stuff smashed up, then you'll probably know why.
Yeah. So like if you're the operator, you have nothing to worry about. If you are lower down the totem pole and you don't have a skill set that is compatible with supervision of these tools, then you might be in a bit of a situation that you may not be able to control. Anyone that deals with strategy, AI is not going to do that.
Strategy or management level.
Management, a creative, to a certain extent, you need to be, even a creative needs to be able to operate the tools of today.
One thing I'm also scared of, especially for the youngsters these days, is that, when you go for a job, you go for a job interview, right? Before you can go for a job interview, you have to pass through the emails system, whatever. You have to submit your CVs and stuff like that. When you submit your CV, whether it's online or through email, now they have AI to filter out your CV. For example, if I was a hiring manager for a certain company, I just ask AI, I want this particular skill set, I want this age, this, that, blah, blah, and it will sort out all the CVs for you and choose the best candidate based on your criteria as a hiring manager. So rather than actually reading through the CV one by one and picking the correct candidate for your organization.
Yeah.
So one person could be very well suited for that company, but get missed because that AI didn't pick him.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that AI, hiring managers need to be careful, because you can't really rely on AI. AI might choose the stuff that you picked in your criteria, but may not choose the best person.
Well, that's why you need to train the AI, because of the short list, you obviously need to go through them to make sure that, hey, you've shortlisted this. I have 20 resume. You picked these 5. I'm still going to go through all 20 to make sure that you're okay. I'm going to flag what's wrong, and I'm going to put this in the pile. I'm going to let you learn from this. That you should have picked this one and not this one.
Yeah. So that's is that
inputs.
That's is that called
Machine learning.
Machine learning. Yeah. Machine learning and data, gathering and stuff like that.
So I mean, it can be taught. It just takes time.
Yeah.
At some point, the hiring manager is probably going to become obsolete. Well, the lower line hiring manager will be obsolete. The hiring people still need to be present to do the interviews to make sure suitability, culture fit, and everything like that. Those things all need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
If you're cracking weird jokes and you keep seeing HR, maybe your jokes are not appropriate, and you need to be talked to about the type of language that you use, and that's something that AI might miss.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of stuff that AI needs to learn, and they obviously need to distinguish and identify which is okay and which is not.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day when we were growing up, there are certain words that we used to use which are okay, but nowadays it's offensive.
Yep.
And AI don't know that because of the culture differences over the years. And how does it learn that?
Exactly.
And it needs to be kind of semi-self-aware.
Yeah.
Somehow. And that'll take a few number of years, I guess. But it's a growing thing, and who knows where it'll take us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's definitely evolving fast. And governments, at least I guess in Europe, they've got some things going on right now. I know that T-Mobile ran an ad. I think it was last year, where they were talking about how images of your kids as they grow up, you should be pulling those out. You should be archiving them. You should be taking them off, because as AI learns how children age, they'll be able to extrapolate what people will look like in the future.
Yeah. And also, there was a news article on the other day, OpenAI. OpenAI was actually co-founded by Elon. Right?
Yeah.
With Altman, right? Yeah. Sam Altman. And Sam Altman and the board, whatever, Elon didn't like where OpenAI was heading, because OpenAI says, okay, we need to fund OpenAI. We can't fund it because it was OpenAI, it was open source, and it was a non-profit. And they decided to have 2 branches. It was a non-profit OpenAI, and also a fully funded with investors OpenAI under the same group. And Elon didn't like that, so he left, right? So now OpenAI is being Microsoft put billions into OpenAI fund investment.
Yes.
And that's where the profit will be, advanced OpenAI, AI and stuff like that. Whereas the open source one will be just like trickles of, hey, it's free.
That's why Microsoft was like in panic mode when Sam Altman was let go from OpenAI. He was fired.
10 billion is going into OpenAI.
So that's why Satya Nadella in the middle of the night he's tweeting. It's like, no, we are setting up a new advanced AI division inside Microsoft, and we're taking all these people on.
Just in case.
Right away.
Just in case.
Right? And sure enough, a couple days later, Sam Altman is back, and the people that ousted him are out.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. And OpenAI, it's heading, I would say, not in the way that I would expect them to head, because if you have anything that's funded, invested with other big companies, is always going to be a motive, like for them to create something for profit rather than for mankind.
Yeah.
For general purpose use and for the better good for humans, right?
Yes.
And this is what Elon wanted, and he saw what's happening. It was gonna be profit for profit. He didn't like that. He left. Now, in the news is that Elon's gonna sue OpenAI, say, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. The mission was to create an AI or be the company that have AI that's actually for the better good for humans. Non-profit.
So why'd you quit, Elon?
He didn't like Sam Altman, I guess. He didn't like where OpenAI is heading.
Well, you quit. You quit. Your board seat is no longer. You can't exert any influence anymore, right? You can sue all you want, but you're not there.
He should have
Right?
stayed.
You're not there. You should have stayed.
I think he should have stayed. I think with him on board, he will make arguments and stop any kind of like, for example, a $10 billion deal with Microsoft wouldn't have gone through if he was still on there.
He would have been able to delay the inevitable, but he would have to. His point of view would be considered for some things that might be stipulations in deals that might be ongoing.
And at least he would have. He would have said,
His influence would be there.
Yeah, if his influence would have been there, he would have said, "Look, okay, $10 billion deal. Yeah, we can accept that, but I want you to devote at least say 25%, 30% of that into open source.
Yeah.
For humankind AI rather than just for profit."
Like, I hate to say it, but Elon, you left your kid and you don't have a say in their life anymore.
The kid's grown up.
The kid's grown up and doesn't need you right now. So if you were there the whole time, then maybe, yeah. But, you're kind of an absent father in this respect.
Yeah.
So you should have said something when you were on board. You shouldn't have left the nest. You should have stuck with them until you knew that they were okay.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's so much news about OpenAI because OpenAI, the AI technology behind it is much more advanced than any other AI alternatives. And that's why it's so important and it's in the news everywhere because OpenAI is the AI to go for.
Yeah. And they're also striking, I think Google and also OpenAI, they're striking deals with Reddit. Other places
that's
to actually read through all of the information so that they can get smarter. The learning models, the learning data sets.
Billions of answers and questions
which
that
means
people ask for at Reddit.
A lot of people will probably want to delete their accounts, including all of their answers, because they're training on you, right? They're not paying, like Reddit's not paying you. Reddit's not paying you, right? If Reddit paid you for your knowledge, that would be completely different, right?
It meant to be free at the time.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, though, Reddit is also going public.
Oh, yeah.
And they are giving some of their moderators shares.
Seriously?
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. Based on their score.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this is going to work. But
again, way back when we went into the computer stuff, right? And the internet grew from the thing where we watched that happen. And internet was always been free.
Yeah.
It's never been for profit or we're going to take this company public, blah, 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 all kind of stuff. It was meant to be free information. I have something that I know, knowledge base, whatever. I give that to you. You help me out. I help you. It was a place where people can find answers if you have a problem. It was free. But now it's everything needs to be paid for.
Freemium. Because, after your 30-day trial, if you like it, you put your money in it. Yeah.
And same with YouTube. I remember, when we created YouTube videos and stuff like that, it was for enjoyment. People that love to watch videos. We created videos for people to enjoy. Now it's like, you watch this ad and this, and then people make money through like number of views. And for people who make a living on YouTube, it's like, is that the only source of revenue? Remember, you don't own any of that stuff. If you put on YouTube, you signed your life away when you upload those videos. You don't actually own them anymore,
and you get paid for that as well too. That's why there's merch.
And then when your channel gets cut, they can cut your channel anytime,
pretty much for any reason.
Yeah. And if it just takes one malicious person, user, it could be a fake user, report you, and the AI doesn't know any better, and then your channel gets gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
And that's and if that's your only source of revenue, hey, free is good, but then hey, you need to create something so that it's not in the public domain where they can take your stuff and they own it.
It's getting more difficult these days because even websites, if you go to Wix, technically,
that's right.
That's owned by Wix, not you.
Yeah. You don't. You put the stuff on their servers. Yep. So
Squarespace. That's not yours either.
When you tick that box, says apply, accept these conditions.
Even WordPress, technically you can host it yourself and everything like that. But once the software license something,
you don't get updates on that.
Nope.
You get
you'll have to roll your own or HTML code all your pages individually.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, automation, more productivity. What about the weather and climate like predictions? Because they said that the AI has helped them tremendously over the years. Be able to predict, use AI to predict weather patterns. And
then why are the weather people still so wrong? Huh?
Because the AI models are learning from human information.
Okay. Well, then get new humans.
They're using information which humans had to make the AI learn.
Oh boy.
So
too many variables.
But I have noticed Yahoo with their weather reporting has been a little bit more accurate. For example, it says the rain's going to stop at 4 p.m. So that's me thinking, okay, it's almost 4 p.m. And then so sure enough, it was like 5 past or 10 past 4 p.m. It actually stopped raining.
So it's getting better, but still needs work.
It reminds me of Back to the Future, remember?
Yeah.
And they went to the future, and it was raining and stuff like that. You got the jacket on, didn't he? And the jacket was like auto heated and stuff, dry and that. And he looked at the watch. It's about time to stop raining. Exactly 12 o'clock, stop raining, something like that, right? Predict the weather, but actually doesn't create the weather conditions. So.
No, that will be scary.
Very scary. What about robotics? Because that's something we haven't even touched on. Because if they put AI in robots, we've seen the Boston Dynamics with a dog.
We've seen Minimus Prime or whatever Elon calls his robot.
Yeah, and then we had the Japanese robots with the facial features and stuff like that talk to you. And I think Boston Dynamics did another robot, just bipedal, just
the walking one. That now is battery powered.
Is that really I saw a video where they're doing acrobatics. Is that, Is that real?
That's real. He's battery powered now. Same with the dog.
So they can do flips and jumps like that.
Yeah, you can't push him. Like that's all real.
Seriously, shit. Imagine now putting AI in there, being able to like interact with you.
Oh, I wouldn't want to interact with it. I don't know what it's thinking. Yeah.
Like you talk to him and stuff like that. You say, "Hey, come here. I want to help to lift this up," and he'll come along.
Unless it's robotic law and it won't harm a human.
So the thing is, these robotic laws are made by humans, so they can undo. A human can undo those laws, even if it's hard coded, right?
Protect the innocent, uphold the law.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. It's not like iRobot where they say, "Oh, you." I can't remember what the first law is. You can't kill a human or something like that.
Yeah, Asimov's robotic laws.
And
if they're hard coded in, then there's no way that it can harm a human. But what if you're a cyborg?
And what happens if that human's doing harm?
Don't know. No, actually, it could. A robot could be harmed by a human, but it cannot fight back.
Yeah. So what happens if the robot sees a man or a human harming someone or something else, whatever? Yeah. He needs to stop him. So they can't harm him, but they have to stop him.
So they would be useless as security or cops. Think about that. Because if they were cops, they would beat the sun. I mean, no.
But robotics, big in Japan, is huge. The robotics industry is massive. And we're not talking about robots that walk around like that, right? I'm talking about robotics in production and all the car manufacturing, they use robotics.
Fuji Heavy Industries.
Yeah, even the mega gigafactories, Tesla, they use robotics and stuff like that. So that'll improve things, I guess, production-wise. But in terms of human interactive with like interactive robots, that's still some way to go. But we're seeing some really scary stuff already. But for home, robotics at home. So you got some cleaning robots around?
Yeah, they're kind of dumb sometimes, but they could get better. No, they still can't get into the nooks and crannies. It'll be some time until they can, they have a snake hose and, pick things up. Like, how's that even going to work? I don't know. The AI is so young right now, and we better get on the train of being able to, rein them all in. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
But so far, Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Google, so well done to those guys because their stock prices shot up.
Yeah.
I hope they can continue with their, AI development, the chips are going to get better and faster. AMD is releasing their AI PCs already.
Well, not if they keep giving stock options to people in programming jobs. They're not going to have any programmers left.
And then they start selling their shares.
They start selling their shares.
But I can see that industry growing definitely. And hopefully we'll have some, I wouldn't say rules and regulations. They need to be not just strict, but also they need to be kind of like with a lot of compromise as well, right? Because you have some good, you have some bad. They really need a team to look into how to improve and kind of make it better in the future.
Yeah, it's important to get regulation in place now. At least that way it can be adjusted in the future. So good hats off to some of the government agencies in Europe and some of the developing policies in North America. You're moving in the right direction. Just keep at it.
Yeah. So on that note, I think that's all for have with AI. AI is going to be around for us for quite a while. So whether you love it or not, just embrace it, I guess.
Yes.
So make sure you watch our new shows each and every week on a Wednesday, right here on our podcast show on our YouTube exclusive.
That's right. You won't find it on Spotify. You won't find it anywhere else but YouTube. It is exclusive. And don't forget to find us on Instagram and also on the X place at our podcast show. If you want to add anything to this episode below, our comment section is open for business anytime. They are not combed through by AI. So please go ahead and add your comments because me and Winston will actually read them. Okay?
We will. It won't be an AI. Trust me.
Yeah.
Until next time. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.